Filled with malice and astuteness, he observed closely the exceeding great holiness of the excellent matron Anne, and all the events of her life. And although he could not estimate the richness of the treasure which was enclosed in her blessed womb, since the Lord concealed this as well as many other mysteries from him, yet he felt a powerful influence proceeding from Saint Anne. The fact that he could not penetrate into the source of this activity threw him at times into great fury and rage. At other times he quieted himself with the thought that this pregnancy arose from the same causes as others in the course of nature, and that there was no special cause for alarm. For the Lord left him to his own hallucinations, and to the vagaries of his own fury. Nevertheless, the whole event was a source of great misgiving to this perverse spirit, when he saw how quietly her pregnancy took its course, and especially when he saw that many angels stood in attendance. Above all, he was enraged at his weakness in resisting the force which proceeded from the blessed Anne, and he suspected that it was not she alone who was the cause of it. Filled with this mistrust, the dragon determined, if possible, to take the life of the most felicious Anne, or, if that was impossible, to see that she should obtain little satisfaction from her pregnancy. For the pride of Lucifer was so boundless as to persuade him of his ability to overcome or take away the life of her who was to be the mother of the incarnate Word, or even the life of the Messiah and Redeemer of the world, if only he could obtain knowledge of their whereabouts. His arrogance was founded upon the superiority of his angelic nature to the condition and power of mere human nature, as if both were not subject to grace and entirely dependent upon the will of their Creator. Audaciously, therefore, he set himself to tempt holy Anne with many suggestions, misgivings, doubts, and diffidences about the truth of her pregnancy, alleging her protracted years. All this the demon attempted in order to test the virtue of the saint, and to see whether these temptations would not afford some opening for the perversion of her will. But the invincible matron resisted these onslaughts with humble fortitude, patience, continued prayer, and vivid faith in the Lord. She brought to naught the perplexing lies of the dragon, and on account of them gained only additional grace and protection from on high. For, besides the protection abundantly merited by her past life, she was defended and freed from the demons by the great princes who were guarding her most holy daughter. Nevertheless, in his insatiable malice, the enemy did not desist on that account, and since his arrogance and pride far exceeds his powers, he sought human aid, for with such help he always promises himself greater ease of victory. Having at first tried to overthrow the dwelling of St. Joachim and Anne, in order that she might be frightened and excited by the shock of its fall, but not being able to succeed on account of the resistance of the holy angels, he incited against St. Anne one of the foolish women of her acquaintance to quarrel with her. This the woman did with great fury, insolently attacking St. Anne with reproach and scorn. She did not hesitate to make mockery of her pregnancy, saying that she was the sport of the demon in being thus found pregnant at the end of so many years and at so great an age. The Blessed Anne did not permit herself to be disturbed by this attack, but in all meekness and humility bore the injuries and treated her assailants with kindness. From that time on she looked with greater love upon these women, and lavished upon them so much the greater benefits. But their wrath was not immediately pacified, for the demon had taken possession of them, filling them with hate against this saint. And as any concession of this cruel tyrant always increases his power over his victims, he incited these miserable dupes to plot even against the person and life of Saint Anne. But they could not put their plots into execution, because divine power interfered to foil their natural womanly weakness. They were not only powerless against the saint, but they were overcome by her admonitions, and brought to the knowledge and amendment of their evil course by her prayers.